Young Barry, known as the Flash, embarks on a journey with his mother Nora. Unfortunately, their vehicle malfunctions during their trip, and Barry notices an approaching vehicle. Desperately seeking assistance, he cries out for help and chases after it. However, his mother intervenes and prevents him from pursuing, sharing one of her famous sayings about the inability to alter fate. Together, they sprint towards a nearby gas station in search of aid for their stranded car. Several days later, Barry races back to his residence and discovers that a group of criminals has unlawfully entered his apartment. Shocked and grief-stricken, he finds his mother tragically slain. Overwhelmed with sorrow, he respectfully lays her to rest, mourning deeply. The story then shifts to an older Barry, who continues to mourn Nora's loss dearly. On her birthday, Barry stands before her grave, consumed by guilt for not being able to save her. His wife Iris consoles him, reminding him that he was only a child and couldn't have done anything differently. While Barry is paying his respects at his mother's gravesite, he is notified of the return of all his previous foes. He is informed of a significant heist at the Flash Museum, carried out by Captain Cold, Captain Boomerang, Heatwave, Mirror Master, and Top. Being the Flash, Barry swiftly runs towards the crime scene. Upon arrival, he witnesses the museum in ruins and his enemies emerging to confront him, initiating a battle. During the conflict, Barry gets captured by the attackers and discovers their plan to demolish the Flash Museum and Central City with multiple bombs. The mastermind behind this is Professor Thawne, also known as Professor Zoom. Barry pleads with Zoom not to harm the innocent people of the city, but Zoom remains indifferent. Thinking he has defeated Barry, Zoom is surprised when all the members of the Justice League join forces with him. Together, they manage to defuse all the bombs throughout the city just in time. Each superhero takes down the rogues while also preventing the deadly bombs from causing further harm. Barry successfully captures Professor Zoom, and the heroes celebrate their victory. Superman then takes Zoom to his prison, but not before Zoom warns Barry that he will return to destroy everything. In a final taunt, Zoom mocks Barry for his inability to save his own mother, leaving Barry deeply hurt. Batman tries to console Barry and urges him not to let Zoom's words affect him, but Barry runs off, still profoundly affected by Nora's death. In the morning, he wakes up in a new world. His colleagues at work awaken him, ready to tackle a new case. They gather around to watch the news, which reports a disaster at the museum. He confidently explains to his colleagues that the mishap was caused by Flash's enemies, but he soon realizes he is mistaken. The news reveals that the catastrophe was actually caused by Wonder Woman and Aquaman, resulting in the loss of many lives. Startled by this revelation, he rushes out, hoping to use his powers to intervene, only to discover that his abilities have vanished. As he stumbles and falls down the stairs, he catches a glimpse of his mother, Nora Jones. The sight of her leaves him shocked, and he attempts to convey to her that he is the Flash, possessing incredible superpowers. However, his mother remains oblivious to the existence of the Flash. Batman stands out as the only prominent superhero in this altered reality. The scene then transitions to Batman battling Harley Quinn and questioning her about the Joker's whereabouts. Harley claims ignorance, and despite Batman's threats, she remains unyielding. Consequently, Batman throws her off the building, but Cyborg swoops in and saves her just in time. Cyborg tries to reason with Batman, but the latter refuses to listen, accusing him of being the president's pawn. Cyborg implores Batman for help, explaining that the world is in danger and embroiled in war. However, Batman declines assistance and departs, as things have already spiraled out of control. Meanwhile, Barry rushes to Iris' workplace with the intention of sharing his bewildering experience with her. However, he receives the most shocking revelation of his life: Iris is actually married to someone else and has her own family. This realization dawns upon Barry, confirming that he has entered a new world altogether. In this altered timeline, Aquaman and his Atlantean forces have taken control of most of Western Europe, while Wonder Woman has led the Amazons to conquer Great Britain. The Atlanteans and Amazons are locked in a fierce war, sparked by Wonder Woman's ruthless elimination of Aquaman's wife. Cyborg, aiming to end this conflict, assembles a team with the intention of eliminating the leaders and their factions, ignorant of the true situation. Barry pays a visit to Bruce, but upon arriving at Wayne Manor, he is attacked by Batman, whom he recognizes as Thomas Wayne, not Bruce Wayne. In this reality, Bruce has already passed away, and Thomas has taken up the mantle of Batman. In London, the renowned Steve Trevor is ambushed by a skilled group of soldiers as he investigates undercover reporter Lois Lane. Unfortunately, the Amazons discover his presence, and Wonder Woman confronts him. Steve reveals to her that Lois has been hiding in Themyscira for the past 3 months. Regrettably, he is brutally murdered by Wonder Woman. Meanwhile, Barry desperately tries to convince Thomas about the distorted reality, but his claims fall on deaf ears. Instead, Thomas begins snapping his fingers one by one, leading to the appearance of Barry's ring containing his Flash costume. Barry swiftly retrieves his costume from the ring, only to find Professor Zoom's costume in its place. This realization confirms to Barry that it is Professor Zoom who is responsible for altering history. He proceeds to share all the knowledge he possesses about his superpowers and the Reverse Flash with Batman. Meanwhile, in Paris, Deathstroke and Lex Luthor collaborate to locate Aquaman's devastating weapon, the Doomsday device. They track the energy trail of the newly acquired and weaponized Captain Atom, intending to destroy it and bring an end to the ongoing war. However, Aquaman's formidable forces arrive, launching a fierce battle. Despite Deathstroke and Lex's efforts, Aquaman's forces prove overpowering, resulting in the death of everyone on the ship. Back in Gotham, Barry manages to persuade Thomas to assist him. Thomas reluctantly agrees to restore Barry's powers after learning that Bruce is alive in the original timeline. Batman helps Barry recreate the accident that initially granted him his Flash abilities. Although highly perilous, they have no alternative. Tragic lightning strikes Barry, but instead of regaining his powers, he suffers severe burns to the point of being unrecognizable. Meanwhile, Cyborg discovers that the president wants to withdraw from their plan as Batman has refused to join their cause. Consequently, Cyborg abandons their scheme to assassinate the leaders of the two nations and seeks alternative solutions. Hal Jordan is assigned the task of piloting an alien spacecraft to carry out a bombing mission against the Atlanteans. Pilot Hal Jordan is assigned to fly an alien spacecraft in a bombing run on the Atlanteans. Hal finally reaches the Doomsday device but fails to destroy it. The scene then transitions to a flashback where Aquaman and Mera visit Queen Diana. During their encounter, tension arises, and later at night, Mera discovers Arthur and Diana together in bed, having engaged in an affair behind her back. Enraged, Mera confronts Wonder Woman the next day, leading to a brutal fight that concludes with Diana beheading Mera. This event sparks a war between the Atlanteans and the Amazons. Simultaneously, Bruce is killed in the alley instead of Thomas, causing Thomas to descend into madness gradually. In the present, a heavily injured Barry awakens, his body covered in severe third-degree burns. He gradually starts to recall every event that has transpired in the new timeline, but he becomes aware that his memories of the original timeline are slowly fading. In an effort to prevent this, the injured Barry insists that Batman recreate the accident once again. Conversely, King Arthur becomes increasingly cynical and resorts to any means necessary to eliminate Diana and her people. He is willing to destroy the entire world just to defeat the Amazons. Reluctantly, Batman agrees to Barry's plea and recreates the accident. This time, Barry successfully regains all his powers. However, he discovers that he is unable to travel through time as he could before. Another speedster is also drawing energy from the Speed Force, impeding Flash from gathering enough energy to break through the time barrier. In Themyscira, the Amazons hunt down Lois Lane after Steve Trevor divulges crucial information. Just as Lois is about to be killed, she is rescued by the local resistance and joins their cause. Meanwhile, Barry quickly recovers from his injuries and informs Batman that Zoom is preventing him from rectifying the situation. He aims to recruit more allies, starting with Superman, who is imprisoned by the government in this world. A massive meteor crash in Metropolis led to Superman's weakened state. With the assistance of Batman and Cyborg, they infiltrate a bunker where Superman is held captive. Barry is shocked to witness Superman's pitiful condition. As they prepare to escape, government agents discover them, but they find themselves under the sun's rays, potentially granting them an advantage. The troops launched a fierce assault against them, forcing the trio to employ various tactics to ensure their survival. Superman grows stronger and successfully fends off the government agents. However, he becomes overwhelmed by his own power and flies away in fear and confusion. Meanwhile, Flash collapses in pain as his memories begin to merge and intertwine. He is then taken to the home of Billy Batson and his foster siblings to recuperate. Meanwhile, Barry recovers from his episode and discovers that the final war has commenced. Batman, feeling hopeless, gives up, claiming there is no turning back. However, Flash manages to convince him to join their cause and try to stop the war. The team prepares for the ultimate battle, starting with their journey to England. En route, Batman shows Flash an intercepted message from Lois Lane, who captured an image of a super speedster. Flash immediately recognizes the speedster as Zoom and wonders why Zoom spared Lois's life if she had seen him. During their flight, Batman's jet is shot down by the Atlantean army, triggering a massive battle. Bombs and bullets rain down as Lois and the Resistance join the fight, plunging into a bloody conflict. Arthur and Diana engage in a fierce duel, showing no intention of backing down. Just in time, Flash and Cyborg arrive to intervene and halt the clash between the two metahumans. Meanwhile, Batson and his siblings transform into Captain Thunder and engage in combat with Wonder Woman. Flash, Cyborg, and Batman manage to gain control over Aquaman after defeating Black Manta. Amidst the chaos, Batman sustains a grave injury when Ocean Master shoots him. Wonder Woman ultimately defeats Captain Thunder, and soon reveals himself. Barry confronts him, and a mid-air battle ensues, resulting in Zoom overpowering Barry. The Amazon warriors kill Grifter, and Thawne explains that Barry himself is responsible for altering the timeline. According to Thawne, when Barry traveled back in time to save his mother, it caused reality to fracture and warp, resulting in significant changes to every event. Barry is stunned by this revelation and struggles to process the fact that he was the catalyst all along. The battle rages on all around them. Wonder Woman employs her lasso to compel Captain Thunder to revert back to Batson, resulting in his demise. Just as Superman arrives on the scene, it proves too late to save the day. He manages to sever Aquaman's arm but fails to rescue Cyborg. In his weakened state, Aquaman is defeated by Diana, leading him to issue the command to trigger the Captain Atom bomb. The bomb detonates, initiating the destruction of the world. As the explosion ravages the land, Zoom taunts Flash, relishing in the devastation. However, Batman shoots Zoom in the head, killing him and allowing Flash to enter the Speed Force moments before his demise. Prior to his death, Batman implores Barry to rectify everything and hands him a letter addressed to his son, Bruce. Barry accepts the letter and races back in time. There, he encounters his past self and prevents himself from altering his mother's fate. A brilliant light engulfs Barry, and when he regains consciousness, he finds himself back at his desk. He realizes that everything has returned to normal, albeit in a different timeline with various alterations. After spending a moment with Iris at his mother's grave, Barry visits Batman to recount the events and deliver the letter from his father. Batman becomes profoundly emotional and expresses gratitude to Barry for the letter. He then speeds off as the Flash to safeguard the world from further catastrophes. In a brief post-credits scene before the formation or meeting of the Justice League, a boom tube materializes in space above Earth, unleashing a massive battalion of parademons. The end. Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos and please make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.